The holiday season is running with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. So I decided today I'm gonna make some cookies. Hey guys, and welcome back to Prepared and Sustainable Living. The winter, especially towards Christmas, there will be more and more baking and cooking and crafting coming up. And I thought I start with two really easy cookie recipes. So stay tuned so you don't miss nothing. Alright, I already put everything out we need, which is 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. That's why I have that here, because there is going to be another one coming up. Then we have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 eggs, 2.5 cups of flour. I use gluten-free flour, and even though I didn't use a recipe for gluten-free cookies, it works fine for me and it will work for everybody else. You can use normal flour, gluten-free flour, works both of it. I did both. Well, I did the gluten-free one, but the recipe is for normal flour, so it should work with both. A pack of butterscotch morsels and butter. They do take 3/4 of a cup of melted butter, softened butter. I do use margarine because I just have that here, but I did it before with margarine. It works fine. It's already soft, but you can use butter and soften that up. So let's get started. Alright, you can do mix all that with a stand mixer. I don't feel like it. I feel like doing it by hand today. I don't know why. I already cleaned up the bowl because it's from the stand mixer and it's getting dusty in there a lot. So before I use it, I always clean it out. Now we're gonna mix the brown sugar, the granulated sugar, and the butter. Oh, let me get a knife. It's only 1/4 of a cup, so I take 3 of them. So I take the butter or the margarine, 3/4 of a cup, put it in here as well. And then mix it smooth. Don't let you watch all that. You know how to mix butter and sugar, I assume. And most of you is probably gonna make it in a stand mixer anyhow, because it's a bit easier and faster. So I'll bring you back when that's ready. A little trick, if you do it like me from hand, or if you, for example, don't have a stand mixer, I normally use some kind of oil spray for the cookie sheet anyway, and you can really use that. Some doughs even ask you, that one not, but some ask you to use your hands to make the dough ready. I might make one like that one day. And so I spray a little bit of that oil on my hand so it doesn't stick, and use my hands for it if I struggle with it. Get sure your hands are really clean, and that's all working fine. So now I crack the frosting again, combining that. When that's combined, you're gonna put the second one in and combine that as well. just like that till you can't see egg floating around like that any longer. I'm not sure if you can see it on there. There's still some egg, so that needs quite a bit longer. Let me do that and I'll show you where we stand. If you haven't already, now it's probably the time to turn the oven on 350 degrees. In the measuring cup with the flour, we now add the salt, 1 teaspoon, and the baking soda, and mix them. And in the sugar, butter, egg mix, we put that 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I have here right now pure vanilla extract because it was pretty cheap. You can also take any imitation. I think they taste good to mix them. Vanilla extract in first. The next step is probably easier in the stand mixer. Since I want to get sure and be able to show you that you can do all those things without having one, I'm gonna do it by hand. So next we're gonna put a little bit at a time of the flour in it. I make the batches a little bit smaller because I do it by hand. Mix it in till it's a really smooth dough. That's gonna take me a while, so I'm gonna bring you back in a little bit. Now we're gonna add the butterscotch and mix those till they are evenly spread in the dough. That's not gonna take that long. That's something you probably easier make by hand. I always make that by hand just because I think it's a bit harder in a machine than just spreading it out. I always get sure that as much as possible of the dough is not on a spatula but in a bowl. I'm going to get as much as possible out of it. Alright. And now we either put it 20 minutes in the freezer or 40 minutes in the fridge. So now you're going to ask me, why the hell did I turn the oven on if I'm not going to put them in the fridge for so long? I put them in the fridge because I don't have room in the freezer. I don't really have room in the fridge neither, but I can make room in there. And that's a good question. The reason for that is that while we are waiting on those, like we're gonna do a lot in the holiday season when you make more than one cookie or bake one thing at a time, you do one while you're waiting on the other. So while those dough is going in the fridge for at least 40 minutes, if you have it longer, it's not gonna make that big of a difference. It needs to chill a little bit. We're gonna make our second batch of cookies, so stay tuned because we're gonna come back to that. The second kind of cookies we're gonna do while the butterscotch cookies are chilling is, I promise, even easier than that. All we need is sugar. My boyfriend likes brown sugar. You can use white sugar too. Peanut butter and egg. Yes, we make peanut butter cookies. One of his absolutely favorite. And there's a bowl left over for the dog to clean out because he loves peanut butter. By the way, peanut butter dog treats is going to be a video that's going to come out somewhere in the next time. So stay tuned for that. I want to try making my own dog treats with peanut butter too. We have a lot of peanut butter. And it's going to be really shelf stable once it's done. So generally said, for every cup of peanut butter, we take 1 cup of sugar and 1 egg. Simple as that. So I know that 1 cup of peanut butter is not gonna make a whole lot of cookies, and we're gonna eat them faster than we can look. I don't wanna have cookies for a couple days, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double the recipe. The brown sugar got a bit clumpy, so I loosen up those clumps a little bit. That's gonna also be easier later to put that stuff all together. A little bit more. Right. 2 cups of sugar. Now, I have half a cup here because I don't have a cup on right now. Thought I had one. That doesn't fit in here. Peanut butter sticky. So what I'm gonna do is pull it out in big pieces in here. Not gonna be perfectly accurate, but gonna put 4 of those cups in here. I assume that it's gonna be close to the whole jar because it's a small jar. And I'll bring you back when I've messed over. Alright, the peanut butter is in. I was wrong, the jar is empty. And for someone, there's a really nice happy day cleaning up the peanut butter jar. So I crack my eggs in. Mix it. And I'll show you what I end up with. Alright, I have a really nice consistency now. Everything's mixed in, you can't see no sugar anymore. It's all one dough. There's a lot of variation you can do with peanut butter cookies. Like I said, you can use white sugar or brown sugar. I'm pretty sure you could use maple syrup too. We're gonna make a lot of maple syrup this winter. Stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a hell of a winter making all that maple syrup. Looking forward to it. Then I make a lot of baking out of that. A lot of recipes put a little bit of vanilla extract in there. All the way you like it. What I'm gonna do now, what I know I made never did before, just came on that idea spontaneous right now, is I'll try and chill those for a couple minutes too. Have a look if it gives it a little bit an easier consistency to put them on the cookie sheet because peanut butter cookies are really sticky. And I normally only do that stuff with spoons and hands, so let's see if that helps. Alright, I didn't put that as long in as I do the butterscotch cookies. Also because I want to have them done before the butterscotch cookies come out so they can go in. I also don't think it's needed to put them in that early. What I'm gonna do now, I forgot my fork, is I make that with a spoon. I make most of my cookies with a spoon. You can use other tools too. I use spoon and hands. That's why I put them in the fridge very quick. Make a ball. Try to make it a bit flat. Leave enough room. They're not gonna get as much bigger as the butterscotch cookies will, especially because the butterscotch cookies have some baking soda in. But they will get some bigger. So leave them some room. I have to say, putting them in the fridge was really a good idea. Makes them way less sticky. I try for this time to make them a little bit smaller, so we have a couple more. Especially since we are trying to not eat too much sweet right now at once. Gives one or two nice cookies when my boyfriend comes home. And believe me, it doesn't matter if male or female, if partner or your kids, everybody gonna love peanut butter cookies. Plus they are so easy. Hardly need anything. They're done really fast. They also don't go in the oven for really long. Normally I put the peanut butter cookies in the old oven. I did it for about 5 minutes. I didn't bake that often yet in this oven, so I have to be a little bit careful on that. Look a little bit closer and a little bit earlier. But that are the fastest and probably easiest cookies I've ever learned. And in Europe, we are not, at least where I come from, we do not really do a whole lot of, have a lot of peanut butter. That was kind of a little bit new to me. When people told me, well, you need to eat peanut butter jelly sandwich. I don't know about that. It was really worth it. And I also never had peanut butter cookies. And when I asked my boyfriend what cookies he wanted, he said he wanted peanut butter cookies. I said, I'll figure out how to make your peanut butter cookies. And let's say it this way. I made it overly complicated the first time. It was really not that necessary. But I then learned really easy to make peanut butter cookies with only a few items, fast and easy, and he loves it. No, but whoever you give them to, they will love it too. I always make a grid at the top with my fork, just make it in one direction and then go in the other direction. It's gonna look nice. That's how long. So I put both of my cookie sheets in the oven. And we come back when you're ready. We start on with the butterscotch cookies and stay tuned for the end where we're gonna reveal both cookies and how they look like. Alright, now when we are done with the peanut butter cookies, we're gonna go back to the butterscotch cookies who were a bit longer than 40 minutes in the fridge, but that's fine. They just tend to getting easier being made into cookies if they are a little bit chill. That's why we put the I put the peanut butter ones in the fridge a little bit too. I do, like I said, spray a little bit of oil spray on my cookie sheet. That makes the cookies stick less. And then we're gonna go and form the cookies together. So now you can, for example, make a cake and ice cream scoop. I don't have one. Or you can use a cookie size scoop. I use a spoon and my hands because I don't have nothing else. Try to make them all a bit the same size. Don't have them in my hands for too long because they're getting warm and sticky. Try to get them done as fast as I can. They are not gonna be the winning any award in being the prettiest cookies in the world, and I don't try to. They need to taste good. They don't need to be the most pretty cookies you've ever seen. So I'm gonna finish that up and I'll bring you right back. And now we see why I always have more than enough cookie sheets ready, because one wouldn't have been enough even though it's one of the big ones. So I had a smaller one already. I'd rather clean the oil back off the small cookie sheet than go with my sticky cookie hands on the drawers and the cabinets and get stuff out. So I have enough cookie sheets here. They are not looking perfect. They are not all the same size. But believe me, my boyfriend won't care. And I bet your partner won't either. Those cookies are going to be delicious. So let's put them in the oven. I have it on 350 degrees, like we said earlier. I put both cookie sheets in. I have 2 racks in here, so that works perfectly fine. We let them in there for about 10 to 12 minutes until the edges are brown and the cookies not. There's still some soft. When they come out and cool down, they will be perfectly fine to eat, and they will getting still a little bit drier on the outside, but they will be perfectly soft on the inside and not completely dry. So the outside is gonna dry out. When they cool down, the inside stays soft and they're gonna be delicious. So we have them in the oven, and then we come back when they're done and have a look on both of our cookies we made today and wrap up the video with that. So stay tuned. Alright, let's wrap that video up with the fruits of our labor. We do have the peanut butter cookies. They did not get as nice of a grade this time as I'd like to. They got a little bit bigger, as you can see, as they were when we put them in there. Some of them got a tiny bit too brown, but they will be still fine. It happens fast with peanut butter cookies. They really only need 5 to 8 minutes, and if you're a minute or two over it, it's almost a bit done. Those got a little bit big right now, you can see, compared to my hand. Normally I don't make them that big, Some of them also got a little bit dark. Most of them are fine though. They got a bit bigger than I wanted. You can also tell that they got a bit too close together. Some of them, they were having a cookie next to it. So what do you want to get you with the butterscotch cookies? They get much bigger. It's always hard to say how much bigger they get. So they can get much bigger than they are when you put them on the cookie sheet. So don't do it too close together. Don't put too much cookie at once just because you think they look tiny. They get big. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I never heard nobody who said there are too many or too big cookies, so they will be fine. I will have a they were almost a bit long in, but have a great flavor. And peanut butter cookies, it's a bit hard to see on camera. It's still really nicely soft. It's good peanut butter taste. You can put the ratio together where you want. If you think they are too sweet, you can put a bit more peanut butter and sugar in, or a little bit less. You can put some vanilla extract in it, or whatever else you want. So that are the cookies. Go great. We taste tested them, they taste good. And that's gonna wrap the video up. I hope you like it. I hope you try some of them out. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more or less. Tell me if you tested the cookies out, if they taste good for you. Until next time, stay prepared and sustainable.